Karen Reid beefs up defense team for wrongful death lawsuit with 3 new lawyers. Hello friends, welcome to my channel. I hope you are well. Please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Soon, Karen Reid added 3 new lawyers to her defense team to represent her in the wrongful death lawsuit brought by the family of her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe. Red, 45, was acquitted of all charges connected to the death of O'Keefe last month following a lengthy trial. Prosecutors had accused her of backing her Lexus SUV into O'Keefe after a night of drinking. She was found guilty of operating under the influence. When Reid's first trial concluded in a mistrial last year, O'Keefe's family filed suit in Plymouth Superior Court, claiming Reid was responsible for O'Keefe's death. The family also named 2 Canton bars, where the pair drank on the night of his death as defendants. A trio of attorneys, all with the Boston-based firm Sheehan Finney, filed appearances to represent Red in the civil case, which is pending in Plymouth Superior Court. Specifically, Damon Seligson, Charles Waters, and Aaron D. Rosenberg all joined Reid's defense team last week, according to court filings. They joined 3 lawyers from the firm Mellick Porter who already represented Reid, Christopher George, William L. Kevel Jr., and Marissa K. Palladini. The 3 lawyers from Sheehan Finney all cite business litigation as an area of expertise. It's not clear what role they will take in the civil case. An attorney representing one of the Canton bars, C.F. McCarthy's, withdrew from the case last week. Kevin Bergen, of the firm Peabody Arnold, did not list a reason for his withdrawal. The civil case could mark the first time Reid speaks under oath about the events of Jan. 29, 2022, when O'Keefe, 46, was found near death in the snow outside the home of a fellow Boston police officer in Canton. Her deposition, along with those of her parents and sister-in-law, had been on pause while the criminal trial was ongoing. The burden of proof in a civil case is much lower than in a criminal case, and jurors need only to find that a preponderance of the evidence shows something is true. No trial date has been set for the case. List of jurors in Karen Reid trial impounded indefinitely. The judge who presided over Karen Reid's murder trial ordered the list of jurors impounded indefinitely, writing that multiple jurors asked the list to be shielded from public view out of fear. Judge Beverly Canone extended her order, which was set to expire after 10 days, writing, "There is a risk of immediate and irreparable injury should the list be made available to the public at this time." While multiple jurors have come forward publicly, others wanted their names shielded from public view, she said. The list of jurors who served on a trial must be made public following its conclusion. The order notes that one person, the blogger Aidan Kearney, who is known as Turtle Boy, is charged with the intimidation of several witnesses in the Reid case. This case has garnered significant and divisive attention in Massachusetts and across the nation, Canone wrote. The proceedings continue to be the daily subject of commentary on various social media platforms. Following Reid's first trial, which ended with a mistrial, the foreman of the jury was publicly identified on social media, despite the jury list being impounded, Canone wrote. A juror from the first trial avowed that they were in fear for their safety and the safety of their family if the list of jurors were made public, she wrote. Given that jurors' concern and the ongoing attention on the Reid case, Canone concluded there is a risk of personal harm to the jurors and to the integrity of their service. Reid, 45, was acquitted of all charges connected to the death of her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, following about 22 hours of jury deliberations and 8 weeks of testimony in her retrial. The 7 women and 5 men selected as deliberating jurors convicted her of a lone misdemeanor charge of operating under the influence, for which she received a year of probation. Karen Reid speaks out after judge in her retrial denies request to amend verdict slip. Karen Reed spoke outside of court on Monday morning after the judge in her murder retrial denied a request from her lawyers that sought to amend a verdict slip that was provided to jurors who are deliberating her fate. Karen Reed's verdict slips see the choices jurors in her retrial face. The defense filed a motion in Norfolk Superior Court, arguing that the verdict slip on Reed's second charge of manslaughter while operating under the influence of liquor is unclear, as jurors returned to court for the first full day of deliberations after getting the case on Friday afternoon. Karen Reed's murder retrial. Live updates. First full day of jury deliberations. In the filing, Reed's lawyers asked the court to add a not guilty box on the lesser included charges, since there is only one not guilty option on the slip that applies to all of count 2, compared to 4 guilty options. The current jury verdict slip has the real potential to confuse the jury and cause errors, the defense motion states. The form doesn't explain the process the jury should follow while completing it. The motion continued. This imbalanced presentation visually favors guilty options and risks creating bias toward a guilty verdict in degradation of Miss Reed's rights. In denying the motion, Judge Canone stated that the verdict slip is consistent with Massachusetts law and viewed in conjunction with the jury instructions, which she provided to jurors on Friday. When asked about Canone's ruling, Reed said the motion was denied without a proper hearing. "I think what happened last year with the same verdict form explains it. The jurors said as much, and we just wanted to avoid that again," Reed said. "Apparently the court is not concerned, so we'll just move forward and wait on the jury." When asked how she feels about the jury, Reed said, "I feel well, I feel strong, and the jury will do the right thing. We choose them." Jurors, 7 women and 5 men, are also deliberating 2 other charges: murder in the second degree and leaving the scene of an accident resulting in death. Reed's first trial ended in a mistrial after 5 days due to a hung jury on July 1, 2024. Several jurors later came out to say that the panel had unanimously agreed that Reed was not guilty of the most serious charge of second-degree murder. Red, 45 of Mansfield, is accused of striking John O'Keefe, 46, with her Lexus SUV and leaving him to die alone in a blizzard outside of a house party in Canton at the home of fellow officer Brian Albert on Jan. 29, 2022, following a night of drinking. Throughout her second trial, the prosecution's theory of jaded love turned deadly was countered by a defense claim that a cast of tight-knit Boston area law enforcement killed a fellow police officer.